Hello, everyone. Welcome to another special edition episode of OpsCast, brought to you by MarketingOps.com, powered by all the Mo pros out there. I'm your host, Michael Hartmann, joined today by everyone. Mike, Naomi, always good to have you. But it is a little bit bittersweet this week. Yeah. So I say it's a little bittersweet, this one, because we're recapping. Is it still the last MOPsapalooza 2025 one, Mike? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So final year. Yeah. So over the past few years, though, it's been kind of one of the heartbeats of the community, bringing everyone together, leaders, friends. I didn't get to go this year, so I'm actually really excited to have this, like to hear all the behind the scenes stuff. But joining us to help is Audrey Harze, who, as you know, is the CMO of the MarketingOps.com community. And since I wasn't able to be there, I'm going to probably be mostly just listening, and it's like simmering in my FOMO. You know what I mean? But all right, so like we kind of dropped the whole thing. I don't know if Mike, there's probably some people who are new to the community or haven't heard the news, but like, or like the background, like what was the driver for MOPsapalooza, and why is this year the last one, at least in this form?
Just jumping into it. No, yeah, let's talk about.
Hey, like we're not gonna dance around it, Mike. Come on.
Yeah, totally. No, it's good. We could talk a little bit about the history of where things started and sort of ended up. A lot of us that were early adopters of the community, we were here doing an event that we used to refer to as summer camp. This was about a day and a half of one person guiding the room in the discussion, and really meaningful experience to bring the community together. And we did that about 3 times. And while we were doing that, as many well know, the Marketo sort of super user champion community had started to lose a little bit of their opportunity to come together and talk shop at what used to be Marketo Summit and is now effectively Adobe Summit. And so they said, hey, is there a opportunity for us to try to get some of these champions together and still allow them to have their time to share their knowledge and their expertise? To which, of course, I said, absolutely, but we're agnostic of a specific platform. And so we would endeavor to do something that was a bit more open-ended for the entire industry, and regardless of what platform you're using, right? And so what was created from that request was MOPsapalooza. And I've learned a lot about starting a conference.
Yeah. I sort of remember when you were floating different name ideas and asking a few of us for input.
Yeah.
Like it seems like it was just the other day.
But it does feel like yesterday. It went by really quickly. One of my advisors was like, I think you're going to get sued. And I was like, why? I feel like Appalooza is generic enough. You could attach it to whatever.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Who cares if it's I'm not throwing a festival of, music and stuff.
Right.
I think we're fine. Someone's going to listen to this and be like, no, I'm totally suing them now.
I mean, our audience is growing. I don't think we're going to have that much crossover, Mike. Just saying.
Yeah, probably not. It's fair. Yeah, so it was born, like many things in our community, it was born out of a request of our members asking something new. And we said, sure, let's figure that out.
So why is this last year?
Audrey, why is it our last year?
Oh, there's so many reasons.
No dancing around the topic,
I know we are a little bit, I guess. It's just evolved to be, obviously MOPsapalooza is highly successful. We've gotten amazing feedback from everyone about, the conversations that happen there, community coming together, the sessions, how different it is from every other conference that they go to. So there's a lot of great things about MOPsapalooza for sure. Logistically, if we were to strip down all that goodness and just kind of look at, financially how the event's put on, the logistics from our small team putting it on and the resources that it takes, we've kind of hit a bit of a wall in terms of how we can still produce like an amazing event, but also not be like literally underwater with it as well. So it's been this, a little bit of a balance over the years, and we've kind of come to a place right now where we need to make some choices about what it's going to evolve to. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. We haven't been terribly secretive about what it takes. For those that ever want to know, like, I'll unpack pretty much all of the learnings that I've had over the last few years. But we wrote some blog posts if you're curious. Like the very first year, I think I titled it like "How We Hosted $1 Million Event Before We Ever Made $1 Million."
That's so funny.
And it's you look back and you laugh now and you're like, whoa, on earth.
It's crazy.
Like it's always that hindsight, 2020 moment, right? Like if I knew that it was going to be what it was, maybe I wouldn't have done it. Now, I think what we've all endeavored to create together as a community is a space that is open to learning and sharing and collaborating and networking. And that's what is really the heart of what MOPsapalooza is and represents. Yeah. And I don't think that'll go away. But yeah, the sustainability of it needs to be prioritized now.
Sure.
So, we were really trying hard, but it costs to run it the way that we were running it. With the 4 stages and all the things, right? And, we did it up. I gotta say, we went big. It was like a go big or go home kind of moment. Sidebar on that. I honestly, I envisioned the event the only way I've ever been to a conference.
Right.
So like I've only ever been to Inbound and Dreamforce, right? So I'm like, oh, well, therefore you must have many stages and a nice looking stage and an expo hall and this and that. And so that's what it was created to sort of feel a little bit like those, but without all the pitch slapping happening on the stages, right? And trying to sell you software all the time.
Yeah.
And so, that cost like $1 million. And we were like, oh,
yeah. Well, and I having worked in and out of the events industry in a couple of different places in my career, like, and having married to someone who puts on even smallish kinds of events, and it is really hard, right? People have never seen the behind the scenes. There's a lot of work. There's always shit that goes wrong, right? And you have to figure it out along the way. And not much you can prepare for other than just know it's going to happen, right?
Just be prepared for something is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a speaker having to cancel at the last minute, right?
Yep. That has happened.
Well, so all that said, I'm I eagerly watched posts about it, both before, during, and after, and it looked like it was really a great event. So but what was it like from the floor? What was it like, Audrey? Energy wise, there?
Yeah, it was. And to be fair, all of our past events have kind of been like this in terms of the previous MOPsapaloozas and even our summer camps. There's this community energy vibe of just coming together, always talking in Slack or, communicating otherwise. But when you're just in person, there's just this really great energy. And our community is so great. We're so supportive of each other, helping each other all the time. So that just really translates really well to in person. But I think this this event that we had recently, MOPsapalooza, was, I think maybe because there was a layer of everybody kind of knowing this might be the last time, or it's going to evolve or change. The energy was definitely heightened. I felt it was way high. Everyone wanting to get those extra hugs in, wanting to high five in the hall, wanting to make sure they connected with everyone. So it was really lovely. It was great. It was great to see everybody and get everyone in the same room and to get all that great feedback about wanting something else. This can't be it. And what else can we do? And how can we support you guys? So we really appreciated hearing all of that for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think I remember the first one I went to, I was so excited to meet people in person that I had these online interactions with. And what struck me is there are a bunch of people I walked away not having met because the sessions were so good that normally at these events, right, there's a lot of people lingering out So I'm curious, like Naomi, you've been to all three. Like, so what was it like from your perspective?
I think the first one, people were just like so excited to be able to attend a conference, either their first one or the first one back since COVID had
Right.
happened,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of people were just excited to interface with people that they had only ever really talked to or engaged with on the community or on LinkedIn, and then just being able to mind share with them. And then it quickly became this, and while it has only been, I guess, the third year now, it quickly became the place that people would look forward to once a year to get together with folks that, you know, they really only engage with virtually, myself included, right? There's people that I would only see at this conference. And so definitely when the notice came out that this was the last one, you know, a lot of people would come up to me like, do you know why Mike and
Yeah.
are not doing this again? And as if it's like this, like something like, what's the real reason? And I'm like, well, like you should really talk to, you know, or we're doing a podcast, you should listen, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I do feel like it's a place where people in our community can come together, and it's almost like a safe space where we just all know what we all do, the pain points that we all have. We don't even have to really explain or say something, and we all just like kind of get it because we've all been there, or are currently doing something like that or about to do something like that. And it's just nice to be around peers where you feel just a connection based on shared, I want to say shared trauma.
Yeah.
Shared work trauma.
That's true.
Shared work trauma. Is that a...
That's true.
I mean, yeah, it's a traumatic thing to hit send on an email and have the wrong token in place.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Only marketing house people will know what it's like to like wake up in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. and be like, did I limit it to not send to the whole database, and then crawl out of bed and double check and then go back to bed?
Did I attach the suppression list appropriately?
Yeah. Still
so
happens.
did that import? Did I actually have the right field there? Or did I create 100,000 rows?
Exactly. Like, is the first name field, merge field correct? You know?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is totally what happens at MOPsapalooza. And frankly, it I think what carries in any event that we as a community bring together, it just pulls through no matter what, which is like really pleasant. It doesn't break so far as we can tell. It doesn't break at scale of, you know, almost 500 people who were at MOPSA this year. We were worried about that at first, like going from the summer camp where you had about 50, 60 people. We're like, hey, does this intimate sort of connective tissue of like how we all relate to each other, does that break if there's like hundreds and hundreds of people? And what we realized is it doesn't. No. It just gets harder, to Michael's point, to like see everybody and then to also go enjoy the content, because you've got some of your experts and your favorite people sharing, and you're in the middle of a conversation, you're like, shoot, I wanted to go watch, you know, Scott or Daryl or Jess or whoever.
Right.
So it's pretty special in that regard. But I think there's ways, like I said just a moment ago, wherever the community sort of manifests itself physically, we tend to see that, you know, if it's an event that we're organizing and that we're in charge of, even a coffee meetup, like Audrey and I had the chance to do the coffee meetup at Inbound this year. And even that felt like really special, right? There ended up being like 60 people or something that came and they lingered for forever, and they realized they had to go get to their sessions at Inbound because they were finally getting a chance to just like meet people from the community and just talk shop.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll be able to carry that through in a new iteration of MOPsapalooza, potentially like bringing back some of the summer camp things. Those are all, we are active. Audrey and I are like literally in the throes of annual planning, like many of you are, because we're recording this in November. of 25. And so, we're trying to figure out, well, what does that look like moving forward? How do we keep bringing people together?
So what were the big highlights? Maybe go around. I can direct since like I've got you guys in different spots on my screen. Like I'll start with top left. That's Naomi on my screen. So what was your big highlight from it this year?
I think maybe this year I wanted to make more of a concerted effort when I attended a session, or if I was like even in the panel that I moderated, to try to engage more with either the presenter or the people in the audience after the fact and talk about the topic at hand. And I wanted to make a concerted effort to do that, and I feel like I got a lot out of that, because depending on the session itself, being able to deep dive or debrief with other people that were in attendance, or even with the presenter themselves, really helped me to get context. So, why are they choosing to present on this fact? Or why are you choosing to go to the session? Are you having a similar struggle? Or are you trying to learn something? Are you trying to expand your knowledge as to what are some issues that could potentially come down the horizon on a certain project you're working on? I think just I tried to make more of an effort to ask questions. And I don't know, I personally just got a lot out of the interaction and the conversations that happened even outside of the sessions themselves from doing that.
So the intentionality you had going in, to deeper
exactly.
conversations.
Versus showing up and just listening, taking it, and then compartmentalizing it into my day-to-day, but also being, like you said, intentional about talking to other, what did you get out of this? Oh, I didn't think about that. That's a good spin tab. Okay, that makes sense. I thought that was the takeaway for me that I really valued this year.
Cool. How about you, Audrey?
Yeah, kind of similar to Naomi, where I tried to be more mindful of stepping away from obviously the logistics of the event and just connecting with people, just having those conversations. I think the two highlights, though, were the women's breakfast, MOPsapalooza, which Naomi and I had hosted one morning.
I was wondering if that was going to come up. I was so glad. I knew there was a struggle. There was challenge getting sponsorship for that. I was so glad to see that happen.
Yeah, we ended up getting 3 sponsors, which was amazing. The room was full. We had a wait list. And it was just such a special moment because, again, we did, similar to last year, we had everyone write a future letter to themselves. And in a year's time, we mail it back to them. And a lot of times they forget they even wrote, what they wrote, or that they even wrote the letter. And so we did it last year, to this year. And so many people commented about how wonderful it was to see how far they've come. Because, a lot of times we forget about all of our accomplishments and all the things that we actually do. And we tend to lean in on all the stuff we didn't do. So it was kind of a nice thing to be able to do again with the women's breakfast. Everyone was really excited about it. So that was a highlight for me. And then I guess the other thing was I thought the food was fantastic. I really enjoyed the food at the event. I thought it was fantastic. So that was great.
It's always the food this year was, can I say, better than last year?
You can.
Was it better than last year?
You can. Last year's food. Yeah, of course. Okay. Last year's food we got lots of compliments on their food over at the Marriott, and we're still in the Marriott family, just at the Westin. This past year, and I will say, I totally noticed the quality was even. It felt like it was a notch above where we were before.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's just the chef or the Westin brand or a mix of both, but.
Really good.
Yeah, it was definitely really good. I have to agree. Mm-hmm. We did fall short on the food and beverage minimum, though, which was shocking.
What?
It was shocking. Man, we couldn't hit that.
Maybe
I was blown away.
Which part of the beverage part did you come under, though? That's what I want to know.
It's literally, I think it literally came down to not having spent enough on basically provided beverages. But... It's crazy because, for those of you who may not know, hosting an event, you have these minimums you got to hit. And we did our best to dial it in this year for all of the reasons we've previously said, right? We really wanted to have the right event experience, but make sure we could try to sustain. Mm-hmm. And so we really pared back and to create the right exposure. And it sounds like, from everyone I've spoken to so far, it didn't feel like we pulled anything away where the from the food and the hospitality side of things, it felt like it was still pretty good. Probably, everybody's here and there on this idea of breakfast in the morning or pastries or whatever, but so I guess because we fell short, for those that really wanted that, they're like, see, I should have told you, or I told you should have had breakfast or whatever.
It's amazing. Again, like across events, right? The most common feedback, positive or negative, is about food and beverage. Like across every industry, every kind of event, there's always people who are not happy about it.
Oh yeah. That was the thing I was going to say at the last little piece of the top of this session today is like, you will always disappoint somebody.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Which is hard. I was actually speaking to Pierce about this. He's the CEO of NAC, and he came down to our event for the first time, and they've been a great sponsor of ours. So shout out to NAC for being a sponsor. But he and I were talking, and he was just asking about, feedback and how this event stuff goes. And I explained that moment, how like, there's always somebody that's not happy about something.
Yep.
And he's like, that would just eat at me. And I was like, oh, it eats at me. Like so bad. Like, I actually, I look at all of the survey data for those of you who take the surveys. I don't shy away from it, but there's times where I don't want to open the tab. I'm going to read something and be like, I'm going to stew. Like, how could I have done that better?
Well, it switches around then. So what was your biggest positive sort of like moment from this year?
Okay, first of all, the venue for me, I'm looking at this from the perspective of being the host this year. All the way around, the venue was a little bit more intimate. It was newer, it was nicer, it was really just awesome. And we were very lucky to be able to host it there. So I think I was really pleased with the outcome of the staff and all that stuff that works there and the venue and all that.
Yeah.
But from a run of show perspective, I'm not exactly sure what I did differently. And I don't mean to take credit for anything. I just mean that in curating the show, there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Sure.
Our community gets to vote as ticket holders on all the sessions. And then what we do is we end up sort of like picking what bubbles to the surface. And I, as a curator, just ensure that we don't see one speaker like 5 times. Because unfortunately, like certain speakers get highly rated, like for lots of different sessions they submit.
Yep.
And the same is true for brands. We try to make sure that like we don't have a particular agency show up like 5 times, or software company or something. But the event this year, I would say the content was just like it really floored people. It felt like every single piece, every time I turned around, someone was talking about the last session they went to and how good it was, which means the community really showed up.
Yeah.
And they did a nice job as attendees, as ticket holders, rating those sessions and curating the event that they wanted to see. And then those speakers really showed up and they did a nice job. That was noticeably different this year. And I was really excited about that. And then selfishly, Audrey and I showed up. we were, I don't know, we were vibing, man.
We were vibing big time.
It was great. Yeah. I have to like put this on record. Like that opening session for us felt so good.
Yeah.
And just like we knew what we were talking about, for those of you who might watch us on stage in the prior 2 years, like we generally had a sense of what we wanted to talk about, and it was good, it was fine. But never have we ever, I don't think, felt as confident and as good about that session as we did that day. So
absolutely.
That
felt really good. Way to go.
So I was really excited about that.
So I know this is again, bittersweet, right? It's the end of one thing, but beginning of something else, yet to be determined. Like, what do you think from a legacy standpoint? Like, where do you think this is going to leave things? And feel free to toot your own horn, right? I mean, like, I'm curious to hear where you think that, like, what's going to be that output.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're really ruminating on this.
we are. Yeah.
It is. I think just again, lifting the veil a little, try to understand what's going on here. Like, we exist for the community, for the sake of the community, for the profession, for the vocation. We want to be a certification body that establishes what it means to be a professional in this field, how you earn the trust and respect from a board or a C-suite of executives to turn to you as the expert in the room that they need by their side as they go to launch any modern marketing operational sort of framework, right? Modern marketing doesn't happen without MarTech, and probably need somebody to run that technology.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we think about that as our through line, it really comes down to just us figuring out how do we focus on those values, and still bring together, aspects of what has been fun and exciting and stuff. And effectively what that means is, like, we aren't an events company,
Right.
right? And it's funny, Audrey and I, like, internally, we've had a number of these discussions. We brought on a fractional CFO. Some of you actually met him. His name was Tony. He ran a session for the community. And we've really helped try to understand what all of this is that we're working on and how do we keep it alive.
Yeah.
And we've repeatedly told ourselves that we're not an events company. And yet, like, we kept
events.
doing more and more events. And so, events are a part of the mix.
Sure.
Probably not going to go away, virtual and physical.
Right.
But when it is as heavily resource constrained as it is, both time and money, we have to make some decisions on how to keep those in the mix in a way that matters.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will, since you're hesitant to I'm going to, I'll say this, having not been to this one, right, but knowing some of the behind the scenes stuff that I do. So first off, I think Naomi really described it well about how, over the years, right, this appetite for this kind of community to come together and help each other out. And Audrey, you talked about it too. I think it's really, I've been around a lot of different kinds of functional teams and things like that, and I think it is unique to this space. And I think part of it is it is the shared trauma, shared understanding of what it's like to go there. But also, I think the reactions you got from people about is this really the last one and what's coming next, says a lot about the way that you guys have built this community for the people in the community. And because again, being part of other communities, this one stands out. I shedded a lot of my active involvement in other communities because this one just stood out, right? And I think it says a lot about the two of you and the rest of the organization, all the people involved, about how this community has reinforced some of the innate characteristics of people who seem to gravitate to this kind of profession. So I say thank you, and I'm sure others would do as well. So maybe, do you want to say anything about that too? I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I think there's a lot of people in the community that are wondering what's next. If there's going to be smaller events, or if MOPSA would ever come back, or, are they going to have to go to bigger events like Summit or Inbound to be able to see the people that they normally would like to see. But those are more platform specific, as opposed to vendor agnostic. And so I think we don't have all the answers yet. Maybe we haven't thought about everything. But just know that there is a huge appetite for that. And I think everybody would welcome some form of connection coming back, if it's not next year or the year after. That's a lot of the questions I've been getting anyways.
Yeah.
I think some version of MOPSA will live on. I think at a minimum this year, in 2026 coming up, we're going to move MOPSA online just purely for the sake of like, everybody's got some incredible content. It's really hard to pick all the speakers every year. So like, let's make sure we keep that content going. And then as we head into 2027, we're going to try to understand how do we do basically MOPSA in a way that is a little bit more approachable. And I think along the way, we'll try a few other things with our local chapters and see if it can sort of manifest itself alongside other events where people would love to go. You know, the reality is they all have limited time and budget to go to all these things. And so, you know, just putting it out there for those that listen to this, the original idea of MOPsapalooza, there's two things that I had said that I would kind of love to have seen come to fruition. And it doesn't mean that it won't. It just sort of where the idea started from. And one of them was MOPsapalooza was meant to be sort of like a festival of micro user conferences with real actual practitioner discussions throughout, because suffice to say, we all use these tools and we'd love to go to whatever user conference, right? Because we're passionate about that. But again, my budget is limited. And so, well, what if we brought everybody together and we just had real learning and an opportunity to go check out a few of those things? So that was kind of the Palooza festival of it all. And then point number two was the idea that MOPsapalooza it would have been bad to have done this in the first year for obvious reasons, but maybe it shows up every other year in person. And again, it's to be respectful of the fact that there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of other things you want to go do. And so I was just trying to recognize that I know as an employee, I would love to go to Inbound or Summit or wherever, right, and still get involved in those communities. But my company's not able to pay for me to go to all of them. And I certainly can't get away from the family all that often. And so maybe our community can meet our members where they're at and just respect that we understand that you want to go to those other things. And so perhaps we could build a system where we say, hey, go to that this year and then come to back the next year. And because we're just not even doing it. And now the decision's off the table. But again, like had we have done that after a successful year one, it'd be like, I don't know how to describe it, but it'd be just like taking something in motion and just like stopping it immediately. Right? So we had to do it at least for a second year. And then I was like, we'll do it again. So.
Well, I think I'm really excited about the local chapter stuff. And I'm in Dallas and I'm really grateful for the people who are trying to make that happen here. Cause it's hard, and Dallas probably is in other markets where people are really spread out and trying to connect. People have other things. So I try to get to as many as I can. I haven't been to as many as I'd like to, but I think that's another way of doing it. So if the people who are part of this, who either, whether or not they made it to MOPsapalooza, right, if they're not engaging with their local market or local chapter, I would encourage them to do it, because I think it's a way of carrying this forward through the rest of the year, right?
Absolutely. And it's one of the areas like that we, Mike and I agree on for 2026. We're going to put a lot more effort and resources into building those chapters out and supporting our chapter leaders, because we agree that's a really great avenue for people to still come together in person. And it's a little bit easier, obviously, because it's in their community and where they are. Right. So yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah. So this is the call out to the wild for those that are interested in supporting the local chapters. We could use your help. They could use your help. They're just self-organizing, trying to bring people together and learn about this vocation and talk shop. And, literally like $1,000 can bring together a really cool, meetup event. It's not expensive. I know, it sounds like I'm begging for charity or something like that, but like the reality is that, they want to get together more often, and the more support that they can have, the better. And so if you're interested in supporting our local chapters, we would love to have you. But, gosh, we're in a lot of places right now. We have like 16 regional sort of chapters. So, and if you're interested and and hosting a chapter, we're here for it. But yeah, we're global at the moment. So.
That's awesome. So like, it kind of leads me to another one. So it sounds like, MOPsapalooza in the form it was, at least for now, foreseeable future, not going to happen. You're working through other stuff. So if people want to either help or get involved with local chapters or want to give you ideas about things, knowing that like with all this in context, are you guys looking for input right now? Do you want to give us a minute to get through it ourselves? Like, how are you thinking about that?
He's looking at me and I'm looking at him.
So I feel like this is the weirdest. Like, I think I've stumped both of you like twice now, and I can't the having neither of you have anything to say right away. Like,
I will say for me, I'm always looking for feedback. You can DM me in Slack, email me, all the things. I'm always looking for feedback. I tend to appreciate hearing that insight. So yes.
Yeah. I was, Audrey and I are often on the same page, and we don't ever talk about whether or not we're on the same page, but we just are. And the answer is like the feedback loop, and we'll refer to it as the spout or the water faucet. It is on all the time.
Right.
I am always getting it. And so don't feel like you're going to bother me or Audrey with an idea. I get a lot of that too, where someone's like, you probably don't want to hear this, but here's this thing that I'm thinking about. Right. And I'm like, no, we want to hear it. Yeah. The reason all this stuff exists, I mean, literally the reason the community has the channels that it has, the MOPSA, the summer camp, all of the things is because somebody at some point said, hey, could we do that? And I said, yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah. So send your feedback. We're totally open to ways to bring the community together. New activations too. It doesn't always have to be centered on some specific like attribution discussion or business related topic. Like, it is totally okay if you're like, oh, I would love to organize a Dungeons and Dragons night, right? Like, great. I also know a guy for that. You want to do a poker night virtually? Cool. Like, it's fine. Like, we want the community to come together on shared interests and meet each other, because at the end of the day, we're all actual people that have other passions that aren't just marketing ops. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, I was just like, I'm glad you say that, because like, even it's funny because I was thinking like that's your attitude of like always bring the feedback is kind of the one I take even in professional. Like, I used to get really offended or defensive about feedback because I kind of took it personally, and then at some point the switch went over and I was like, no, bring it all. Like, I want it all. And I think there's a lot of value in that, because it's, sometimes if you don't do that, right, great ideas don't come your way and then you miss out.
I have to say, just like from a professional development standpoint, right, when feedback comes in one-offs, it does feel very personal, right? But when you open it up and you open yourself up to just saying, hey, no, just like let it all come, you now get to start to objectively evaluate all of these new inputs.
You look for patterns, right?
You look for patterns and similarities, and all of a sudden that is the same thing, patterns and similarities. But you definitely start to not feel as like personally attacked, right? And I think for anyone who's watching or listening to this and you're in a role, doesn't matter if you're not hosting a conference, right? You could always get some feedback and just open yourself up to it. It definitely makes a difference. It took me a while as well, Michael, to get used to that.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Separating yourself from your work.
So maybe we can kind of start to wrap up here a little bit and go like, I know you guys are still in the midst of planning for 2026, but what are you most looking forward to in 2026 and through the end of this year, and kind of where things are going with the community?
Well, I'm actually, there's a few things. I think So because MOPsapalooza is evolving and it's not going to quite be what it was, it actually opens up a lot of our time and resources to focus on other things. So I'm actually really excited about that, because I think Mike and I have had a lot of like great ideas that we've wanted to execute and we think would be really great with the community and for the community. We just haven't had the time or the energy or the like mental capacity to like focus in on that. So I'm actually really excited that we, you know, as we're going into planning, we're able to like think those things through a little bit more. You know, one of the things we've talked about is maybe refreshing the website, you know, like I mentioned earlier, more of a chapter lean. Do we revive our ambassador program? Do we do a mentoring program? Like there's a lot of different areas that we want to put more energy into, especially certification. So I feel like now that we have the time to do that, I'm really excited about what's happening next in those spaces. So that's really exciting to me.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'll say things that may not actually come to fruition in 2026, but there's the gist of it is, or the overriding theme is, that it's leaning back into the community programming itself. So, you know, mentorship has been a request for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
It is just like an event. Doing mentorship programs is not overly scalable. And so it will take quite a bit of effort to, you know, make sure that that comes to fruition. But we would love to see something happen there. The matcha program that we used to have is coming back.
I saw that.
We built it ourselves. So we're excited about that.
Great.
And that allows you to, for those that don't know what that is, that allows you to automatically meet other members of the community without really much effort. We just automatically pair you up,
right,
which is great. And then I would say I would really love to come back into our chapter, or sorry, not our chapter, our all these CH words, chairperson program. So when we first got started, quite a while ago now, it feels like, although it really wasn't that long ago, we used to run a chairperson program where someone would represent a corner of technology, HubSpot, Marketo, Pardot, whatever. And that was fun. They got to sort of, you know, create discussions around that topic.
We had a State of the Union a couple times with those people.
Did. Yeah, we're like, what's going on? What's the change log? And then, you know, the poor Pardot person was like, nothing changed. sorry, Salesforce people. But I would love to see that come back. And I think one of the ways I'd like to see it come back is to give it even more love, right? Like, let's get some people on like our video feeds, like showing us how to do something cool inside of these tools, right? Like, let's get a little bit more hands-on and not just, you know, meeting and talking about the tool, but let's actually learn how to use it. And so I kind of want to reinvigorate stuff like that to bring some of that community learning back in ways that, again, are a lot more accessible because it's remote first and it's, you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, lots more focus on creating net new sources of data and knowledge at the community level. That's kind of what I'm most excited about.
Cool. Naomi, any thoughts from you as we wrap up?
I feel like this is not the end of MOPsapalooza. It's just a pause for right now.
Yeah.
Right. I think that it's just a temporary pause to regroup, take some time to figure out, okay, what does the next iteration of community gathering look like, and coming back bigger, stronger, more well-funded, resourced, you know, not spending $1 million when we don't have made $1 million, right? I think it's just a pause right now. So I'm not really trying to say something that seems so final, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that these are the things we learned in the last 3 years, and we're going to take that and apply that for something better. When? TBD. But
yeah, the Europeans are begging me to go to Europe. I know that. From year one.
Euro Disney?
Let's go, Mopsa Europe.
You know, your dollar will go farther in Canada. Just
or Texas.
just an hour ago, I was thinking that too, Naomi. I was like, I think we get like 20 or 30% more or something. Like, I don't even know what this darn math is, but maybe that's a thing.
Well, I mean, I was in New York last week and it was great, but man, everything's expensive there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Everybody's like, why do you keep doing events in California? I will tell you the reason why, folks. One is I live here. No, I'm just kidding. It has nothing.
That's a pretty good reason, though, actually.
No, the actual reason is I actually flew to Dallas. I flew over there, and I checked out like 3 events. We went to dinner, Michael.
Yep.
And I checked out 3 venues, and they were double or 2.5x the cost of what ended up coming to fruition in California in Anaheim here,
which is crazy.
So, trust me.
Yeah,
I know you think there might be cheaper locations other places, but I did shop. I promise.
They're all expensive. I think at the end of the day,
they're all expensive.
Yeah,
is the answer.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So, Naomi, I think you're right. It's a pause.
Yeah,
we'll bring it back.
It's
see you for now, not see you.
Yeah.
Later.
It's a not now. It's not a no, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But keep an eye on our channels. We have we're going to do kind of a look back. Thank goodness for AI. I am going to synthesize a bunch of data over the last 3 years and share sort of what were the top trends that we saw, the top sessions. Celebrate some of those folks that had some of those top performing sessions. So if you were a speaker at one of the last 3 years, you may end up in that mix. And then the idea of that is, one, to celebrate the content and to share some sort of trends is the second part, right? And for all of us to try to observe what's been happening over the last 3 years as we see it through the lens of MOPsapalooza content. So that'll come out pretty soon. And then I think by the time this episode airs, we'll be able to announce all of the winners of the No Bullshit demo contest that we ran live
nice.
At MOPsapalooza this year. So, we're really excited to shout that out too. So keep an eye on those channels.
Awesome. Well, I still have FOMO. I am glad that it was great. It definitely has had I've seen amazing feedback from afar. So glad it happened. I'm looking forward to what's next. So I don't know where else to leave it. So with that, we'll wrap it up. But thanks to you all for doing this. It's always fun to get everyone together. I love this. But we need to do it more. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time. Bye, everybody. And as always, if you have ideas for topics or guests or want to be a guest, reach out to any of us. We'd be happy to get it started. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.